rooftops, on warehouses, in brownfields, in industrially zoned areas. The values expressed in Psalm 24, verse 1, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. On the other hand, there's the chaff of solar industrial developments on our Fairfields. Green energy, as in green money, for a few land leasers and huge profits for companies dependent on government subsidies. Temporary construction jobs. Noise, disruption, displacement, ugliness, messes, destruction or damage to nature, erosion, people disturbed or worse, gone, glass and steel panels covering our Fairfields like a dystopian nightmare, individualism, self-interest, exploitation. The dire consequences warned of in Jeremiah 12:10, they will turn my pleasant field into a desolate wasteland. We thank you, commissioners, for your reasonable leadership in considering this, and we urge you to separate the wheat from the chaff and vote yes for the exclusionary zones. Thank you.
Who would? Please hold your applause.
Good morning. Rex Eberly, Bar Road, Amanda Township. Speaking here as a resident for the exclusionary zones and against industrial solar development. Got two reasons I'd like to highlight for that. Reason one is the infrastructure in and around Amanda Township is not appropriate for this type of development. I've traveled multiple times on State Route 56 past the Fox Squirrel solar project that's being built. Encountered 6 to 8 triaxle dump trucks in convoy rolling through that area. If you think of SR 56 in that area, it's a completely different roadway than the roadways that we have serving this Carnation project. Route 56 has wide shoulders, it's got sloping ditches, long passing zones, gentle curves. The main access for the Carnation project is Ohio 188. It's not geometrically designed for this type of traffic. It has shoulders with steep ditches, many encroachments into the clear zone. There are numerous hills with few passing zones and several intersections with almost no sight distance. Think about 188 and Amanda Northern. Truck traffic using US 22 will need to travel to the industrial site on county and township roads such as Bar Road, Ridge, Cedar Hill, Westfall, and Amanda Northern. These would be unsafe with that much truck traffic. This will not only be a dangerous situation for our citizens and the truck drivers, but will also become an economic burden on the citizens of Amanda Township and Fairfield County. You can ask Carnation to add layers of asphalt to protect the haul roads, but the damage to the base and structures such as bridges and culverts can't be fixed with an overlay, and we're going to be stuck with that for years. Quickly, I'd also like to discuss private property rights. Amanda Township is zoned. Our citizens at some point, long ago, voted for zoning. Zoning reduces some of our property rights for the good of the rest of the citizens. As a group, we gave up some individual property rights to protect this beautiful valley and our way of life. There's actually a sign in my neighborhood that says, Amanda Township zoned for your protection. So I'm just asking that you all think about that zoning as you vote for these exclusionary zones. Think about what our citizens intended when we zoned for ourselves. We intended to keep industrial, this type of projects out of our area. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Who would like to be next, please?
Morning. Commissioners and staff, thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Jeff Williamson and I live at 1201 Winding Oak Drive in Baltimore, and I also live in beautiful Greenfield Township. I was going to talk about Eastern Cottontail, but I think I'll skip that for now and get down to the numbers game because that's where I feel comfortable. Last week, I sent you an email introducing the widely used and accepted concept of levelized cost of energy, or LCOE, which comes from the U.S. Energy Information Administration. According to Isaac Orr, a fellow at the Center of the American Experiment, the LCOE for solar is 13.5 times that of coal. In other words, it's more than 13 times more expensive. 17.4 times more than natural gas CC, which is combined cycle, and 5 times natural gas CT, which is combustion turbine, and 12.7 times that of nuclear. Here's a bit of fact for you. PJM manages approximately 180,000 megawatts of power. Eastern Cottontail at 220 megawatts is 0.1% of PJM's total. Hardly significant. But remember, Eastern Cottontail will cover 1,600 acres of prime farmland. Remember the Inflation Reduction Act that does nothing for inflation? That legislation provides a 30% incentive for solar companies, both foreign and domestic. And the parent company for Eastern Cottontail is a French company. But one thing to keep in mind, where exactly does that money come from? Yes, it comes from out of our pockets. Finally, thank you, commissioners, for addressing the exclusion resolution, and I pray that your decision today is favorable to the people of your county.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Beth Cottrell. I live at 3535 Cedar Hill Road, Amanda. My husband and I live within about a half a mile of the proposed Carnation Solar Project. A huge portion of the leased land is in our viewshed. Gentlemen, you have heard from me far too often in the last 2 years. My father and I first addressed our concerns about industrial solar on May 17th, 2022. However, I brave the microphone once more because I speak as a representative of a family who has lived and farmed in this area for more than 100 years. I speak for the people of our community who have chosen to live in a rural agricultural area, not an industrial one. I speak as a member of the steering committee of Protect Amanda Township. I speak for the farmers who aren't here but in their fields today. And I speak to give a voice to the over 466 people who have signed our petition asking you to keep industrial solar out of Amanda Township. 396 of those signatures are from citizens of Fairfield County. I was handed new signatures today, so I don't know. Over 300 of those people live in Amanda Township. Of those who do not live in Amanda Township, 14 own a business or land in the project area. Still another 30 signatures are from customers of Clear Creek Country Vineyard who come to our area to enjoy the peace and tranquility as they sip their wine. These signatures represent people who will be directly impacted by your decision today. We thank you for considering exclusionary zones, and I am confident that you will do the right thing and vote to exclude industrial solar. Thank you.
Thank you. Who would be next, please?
Hi, I'm Ralph Hedrick. I live in Amanda and I represent Amanda Township as Amanda Township trustee. First of all, we already passed the resolution in remembrance of Amanda Township constituents who wanted against this, which you've just heard of one group right there. And I want to thank you for letting us hear this one last time. I'm not going to read the resolution because I already read that to you in a previous meeting. But I just wanted to let you know that we still are in favor of that, of you going with this exclusionary region. With the regional planning plan that you just approved, had no mention of the solar farm, which I think you kind of did that on purpose. But at the same token, it's still, we wanted to keep it as a Fairfield. And being a strong Buckeye, one of the things I remember is one part of the song is, our honor defend, we will fight to the end for Fairfield County and Amanda Township. Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
Commissioners Board. Thank you for hearing us out today. Brian Compton, 9430 Ridge Road. Just wanted to let you know that I vote every time. My vote is always yes on the schools, fire, EMS, libraries, the parks. It's always a yes vote to better our community. But if you drive that first pylon, it's going to decrease my home value by $200,000. And if that happens, I will not have another yes vote as long as I live. Sorry, if that's what you're going to do to the community. I've always vote for the roads, bridges. We need to keep our community as good as we can. But if that goes through, I'm not saying something would happen, but say we get lead or cadmium into the ground, our water, we no longer can even bathe with it, let alone drink it. So all our water that we would use would have to be trucked in. So just consider that, and thank you.
Thank you. Who would like to be next, please?
Dave Ward, 1782 Cedar Hill Road, Amanda, Ohio. In a prior life, I was the fire chief for the city of Lancaster for 10 and a half years. And when he mentioned cadmium, kind of did me a little thinking. I know what it's like to have your blood drawn. We had fires where we were in that building twice a year inspecting. They had a fantastic mitigation program, but accidents happen. So now we live with the fact that we have this in our bodies. Is it going to come out in some years in cancer? If you put this in perspective, it's about 74 million square feet that we're talking about. This building across the road here is the Anchor Hawking Distribution. It's about 362,000. So you're going to plop 200 and some of those buildings in our county, in our area. And you talk about runoff, and I know the county takes that seriously. That's a lot of runoff. And my property adjoins one of the parcels that's going to be there. And that's going to run down on me. And if there were to be a fire or trace metals that were to leach, and Commissioner, you were a firefighter at one time in your life. You know what forever chemicals are. So when we came on board, they used to say, oh, you can play in that stuff, train in that stuff. 30 years later, guess what? Now we wonder if we've got cancer. Roundup. You just have to look at that stuff. So let's have a big vision. When you guys write your grants, and you do a great job, Rick Zabrak, you talk about how Fairfield County is beautiful, and it is. So's Amanda, and I want to keep it that way. A lot of the farmers are my friends. I know them. But yeah, I don't want to see my property go down. I don't want my health affected or my neighbors. So,
Thank you. Who would like to be next, please?
Gail Ellinger, Hocking Township trustee. I just wanted to come up and say we were probably one of the last townships to pass a resolution restricting solar. And I put a lot of thought into it, talked to a lot of residents, because I do believe in property rights, but I also believe in property value rights as well. I just wanted to say this morning that from the constituents that I've talked to in our township, we have more opposing than we do in favor. Actually, I've not talked to one person that's in favor of it in our township. Even the farmers that I've talked to said they get solar offers every week, every 2 weeks, and they are not interested in doing it. So we felt as a board that we wanted to represent the majority of our residents, and we passed the resolution restricting the industrial solar. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Who would be next, please?
Good morning.
Pull the mic down if you
Sorry.
would.
Good morning. I live Cheryl Kohler, 10580 Ridge Road, Amanda. I am standing in front of you as a landowner and a third-generation future farm owner, asking you to create exclusionary zones in the unincorporated areas of Fairfield County to prevent utility scale solar projects. I live within 300 feet of the proposed industrial project in Amanda Township, Fairfield County, Ohio. My home sits on 3 acres, which is a part of the farm my grandfather purchased over 75 years ago. This farm is also within 300 feet of the proposed industrial project, being farmed currently by my 82-year-old father. My family also proudly owns 2 additional farms, both within about 2 to 3 miles of the projected industrial solar plant, one that has been in our family over 104 years. The Ohio Department of Agriculture recognized this as an Ohio Century Farm signed by the Governor of Ohio and the Director of the Ohio Department of Agriculture. The purpose of these details are just to explain our roots are deep in Amanda Township and Fairfield County as contributing residents as well. My concerns are many: immediate, future impact, personally, for our township and for our county. On a personal level, the impact for myself and neighbors is the destruction to our area, resulting in the noise, dust, flooding, increased traffic, road damage, displacement of wildlife, destroying wildlife habitat. Habitat reduction can be lethal to many animals and birds that frequent our area. Property values plummeting due to being within 300 feet of an industrial solar plant, well water contamination, disruption, glare from 1,700 acres of solar panels facing my home. Many of my neighbors will be surrounded by this industrial plant. Some 2 and 3/4 sides of their home completely surrounded, embedded in industrial solar plant. This process has been mentally draining for many of us. Fearful of our future with devastating impact to our property investments. I'm hopeful as a landowner, my property rights will also be protected. The loss of prime farmland is devastating for proposed industrial solar plants in Fairfield County. Many farmers, including my farmer, have invested many hours and a lot of money over the years ensuring the field tile is sufficient to protect their land and neighboring farmland from standing water and flooding. These same farmers are in the fields right now working the ground, planting corn and beans. They share the same concerns in opposition to industrial solar plants and packaging.
Please conclude.
I could continue with many additional concerns, but acknowledge many have been shared over the past 2 years. As Commissioner Fix has mentioned many times, growth is coming. I accept that and am encouraged by the model zoning the commissioners have put in motion, assisting Fairfield County townships and villages, equipping them with tools and resources to be prepared and embrace that next phase of sustainable growth. I'm thankful to be a part of that committee. I truly do not believe industrial solar is the growth that will benefit the future of Fairfield County. I again ask you to create exclusionary zones and thank you for your support.
Thank you. Who would like to be next, please? You're not fast enough. She beat you.
Scared to death to be up here, but Pam Cavell, 9559 Heigl Road. I should be wearing red.
Yeah, you're fine. Go right ahead.
Normally my husband would be doing this, but he's no longer with us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I know I'm supposed to be speaking to you, but I'm one that signed up for the solar panels. I have farmland on 188. I just need it to be noted that I don't want to do it. And it's important. It's important to my Amanda community that they know that Pat and I, we don't want to do it. We don't want to do it anymore. So I'm speaking to you, but I'm saying to my Amanda community, I stand with you. I wish I'd worn red, but I hope you'll vote in favor of the Amanda community. Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
I put the shoe on the other foot the other day. I want to thank you guys
for being in this. It's a big responsibility. Oh, sorry. Irvin Dunn, 5290 Bar Road, Amanda, Ohio. I've addressed the council twice. You know the reasons against of it. I'm looking for somebody that's for it, that's not from the solar company or leasing the land. I got the privilege of canvassing the town of Royalton. I got over 80 signatures out of that town. I had 7 people that would not sign. 4 of them wouldn't sign a legal document, wouldn't sign a document without a lawyer. 3 of them didn't know enough about it. It's been a great experience getting to know my neighbors and doing this. I've never done nothing like this before in my life. I was talking to my son. I said, it would really be nice. You're forgotten after 2 generations. It would be nice if I was remembered as somebody that helped try to stop the solar and try to stop it coming back again. I'm hoping my legacy is it's passed down the line. If you pass this and something goes south, what will your legacy be? Once again, I want to thank you for your time and your effort that you've put into this because it's been a tough one. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please.
My name's Linda Warner. I live at 9575 Westfall Road. My sympathy to Mrs. Covell. My property faces the Covell's farm. Right out my front door would be solar panels on that part of the solar thing. I just wanted to address one comment. I don't know how many people got a postcard in their mailbox, but I got one last week and somebody said, we will offer you $247,000 for your property. I've lived there 46 years and I think that is a pretty good example of the proof of the loss of property values in our area if this thing goes through. Thank you.
Thank you. Who would like to be next, please?
Just who you want to hear is me. Sherry Pimer, 3464 South Bank Road, Millersport. We're actually in the township. I just wanted to let you know, and our group speaks almost every week at the county commissioners meetings, so you're tired of hearing from us. But Citizens for Fairfields we are specifically right now fighting the Eastern Cottontail Project, which has submitted a pre-application letter. And in that letter, and I'm going to encourage everybody to go to the Ohio Power Siting Board site and write a letter. Right now, their plans are to ask for waivers on 2 specific. Now, this aren't the only waivers they're going to ask for, but they've stated that they're going to ask for waivers on 2 specific Ohio Revised Code. One is visual impact. So they're going to try to get out of doing some of the visual impact, which is the screening and that type of thing for all the way around the project, which I'm sure that all the residents will appreciate not having the project there if we win through the Ohio Power Siting Board. The other one is archaeological landmarks, lakes, streams, wildlife. Go on and read the Ohio Power on the Ohio Power Siting Board site and read the Ohio Revised Code for that particular waiver that they're going to seek. And that includes things up to 10 miles away, which is Buckeye Lake, other lakes, streams, wildlife. So please go on to the site and write a letter to the Ohio Power Siting Board opposing the project. And today, of course, we are very appreciative of you even, holding this hearing to create exclusionary zone throughout the county. It's extremely important for future projects. I know we have a fight on our hand for Eastern Cottontail because it is supposedly partially grandfathered, and we are going to put up that fight. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional people would like to speak against.
Hello, Commissioners. I'm Jerry Starner. I live at 9440 West Fall Road, Amanda, in Amanda Township. I thought I should speak. You've heard from me before, but my home's surrounded by it. And part of the property is Ms. Cavell's. I had the pleasure of meeting her husband once, helping him blow out tiles. And he was a fine man. And so I'm sorry for her loss. I don't know Pam, and she doesn't know me. But I just wanted to say a few things about, the impact it's going to have on our property values. It changed my retirement plans. It's really impacted my life in a big way that I didn't plan. I lived in Pickerington, Violet Township, and I got out of there and moved to here because of the zoning. And it turns out it still happened to me anyway. And the other point I want to make is I participated in everything from the Solar 101 meeting that I think you were at, Jeff, and others, to do my due diligence on this. I've started a website explaining how it works. I've attended, all the land use planning meetings I can. And I look at it and I say, all of a sudden 4,500 acres can be taken out of, and more, right? Everybody's getting more letters all the time, they're farmers, to lease more land. And how can you make a plan for a county if just at a whim, it goes away in thousands of acre chunks? I'm not anti-solar. I think it can be planned and placed better, is my point. And heck, I'd be happy to help them. In fact, the solar people came to our home and talked to us. And they said they felt the same way I do. And they also said, would I like a part-time job? Right? And I said, no, thanks. But, if that's what it would take to help them understand and put it someplace that it should go to, I would be more than willing to help them, honestly. So with that, just hope you vote for the exclusionary zones. Thank you.
Anyone else who'd like to comment regarding for the exclusionary zone? Last chance. We'll ask for those who would like to comment regarding being against the exclusionary zone.
Hello, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I guess I'm a minority.
Name and address, please.
Oh, sorry. Tony Miller, 4340 Sand Hill Road, Amanda. I'm here representing my husband, my brother-in-law, who own 800 acres under L&L Farms. All of the things that have been said today, I don't necessarily disagree with. But one of the things that people have to understand is that farming is a business. My husband and his brother did not inherit land. They built their business from the ground up. Made good business decisions. And that's what we're talking about here, is making a business decision. There was an article in the Gazette on May 12th, very interesting article about solar in Indiana. And I want to read the last paragraph because I think that really sums up what we're looking at. Indiana farmer Norm Welker said he got a better deal leasing 60% of his farmland to Mammoth than he would have growing corn, with prices dipping to a 3-year low this year. We've got mounds of corn. We're below the cost of production. And right now, if you're renting land to grow corn, you're losing money. This way, my economic circumstances are very good. People tell me that farming is a lifestyle. Yes, it is. But if you don't conduct your business well, you won't be living the lifestyle. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Additional comments regarding being against the exclusionary zone?
I'm Chris Keller. I live in Sugar Grove currently, but I am building a house on Deep Cut Road in Millersport. I own property there, property that my brother and I own, and we are under contract with a solar company to build if we can do it. My family started farming in the Columbus area. When I was a kid, I used to plow the ground where Eastland Shopping Center is sitting and rotting right now. And I heard someone talk about Violet Township and moving out here to get away from what's happening in that area and all the construction. And I think I mentioned at a previous meeting how it's pretty clear that development is coming this way. The Intel project is only going to speed that up. It took 50 years to do what, or 60 years to do to Eastland what happened, just hollowing out and moving outward. It's like a brush fire, and it's headed this way. And I don't think that the solar is what people should be concerned about. It should be the rampant urban growth that we're going to be facing. We decided to go with the solar company because despite the CAUV, our taxes have tripled in the last 20 years. The price of corn certainly hasn't. Our inputs have increased. It is increasingly difficult to hold on to farmland when prices keep going up and revenue keeps going down. And we saw this as a way to preserve the farmland, because in the contract we made sure that they wrote that at the end of the 20-year contract that all the infrastructure would be pulled and the farm would return back to farmland, which is what we're hoping for. Solar is a temporary measure till we get to better, more long-term energy solutions. I'm thinking small-scale nuclear or whatever they come up with in the future. I'm not sure, but solar is a transitional technology, and we're hoping to hang on to the farmland until the pressure to develop from the Intel project passes, till the wildfire has passed by us, and then close up shop and farm again. So that's where we're at.
Thank you. Thank you. Additional comments for those against the industrial solar exclusionary zones, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. It's good to see y'all again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nick Bundren. I reside at 3754 Sunrise Lake Circle, and today I'm going to be speaking on behalf of a conservative nonprofit called the Ohio Land and Liberty Coalition. What we do is we advocate for property rights and renewable energy across the state of Ohio. And today I'm going to be talking about why our property rights must be protected. Our rights are sacred. It's what keeps us free as a people, and it keeps tyranny away. Our founding fathers understood this, and that's why they enshrined these rights into our Constitution. This includes the right to acquire, use, and dispose of property without government interference. Those property rights are not exclusive, and they do include things like developing solar. Let's talk about how America's doing right now. We've got bad actors at every level of government trying to take away our rights. Whether it's federal officials constantly trying to take away our gun rights, or radicals trying to take away our free speech, our rights are under assault. We can't allow any of those rights to be taken away, and that does include our property rights. Allowing our government to restrict those rights sets the precedent that more restrictions can come later down the road. Sounds kind of like 1984, doesn't it? Just a little bit. Unfortunately, that's what's happening right now, not just here in Fairfield County, but all across the state and actually all across the country. Ladies and gentlemen, just because we don't like solar or we disagree with a landowner developing his land does not mean we can restrict those rights because those rights are given by God, not the government. And in fact, today's hearing is exactly why our founding fathers included the term God-given, so that even when a group of people are asking to restrict rights, they won't be taken away. And I hope we all understand the importance of today's hearing as well. Even if we don't like solar, we should support the right to develop the land we see fit. And I hope it's the will of the body to support property rights and support our Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional comments regarding being against the exclusionary zone, please.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Victoria Orchard, and I reside 4800 Normandale Lake Boulevard, Bloomington, Minnesota. I'm here on behalf of National Grid Renewables as one of the developers working in this community and many others across the state of Ohio. As has been discussed with the county prosecutor, and while this ban does not apply directly to our project here in Fairfield County, we are committed to working with the local officials and stakeholders whose voices need to be heard when developing a project like this. Our responsible development starts at the very beginning with sourcing our materials and labor locally. While most of our panels come from First Solar, the plant in Toledo, Ohio, these panels are made up of non-toxic components such as silicone and glass made from the sands of Lake Michigan, which is then assembled here in the state and makes a great asset for these projects. Additionally, we do work with the local fire and EMS staff to make sure the safety is at the forefront of these developments before construction of the project ever starts. In addition to local stakeholders, we work with local educational institutions and community organizations like Ohio University Chillicothe and the Greenfield Foundation to give back to families and students in the communities we partner with. We are looking forward to continuing those opportunities here in Fairfield County. As a developer, my main job is to make sure the values of this community and the stakeholders are upheld while bringing these projects forward to provide energy for Ohioans. In addition to setting back from roads and homes and the addition of vegetative screening buffers, we go above and beyond OPSB regulations to make sure that the important issues, such as preservation and maintenance of drain tile and strict limitations on grading for topsoil, are managed properly to make sure that this land can one day go back into agricultural production and preserve the roots of this community while allowing for a more efficient and reliable grid to bring power to the homes and businesses that make this community so great. We look forward to our continued work in this community and the opportunities we have to hear everyone's concerns and make changes that will result in a better project for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Additional comments from those who are against the exclusionary zone.
Hello, my name is Courtney Whitworth, and I'm a Senior Permitting Specialist with National Grid Renewables. Address is 8400 Normandale Lake Office Park, Bloomington, Minnesota. As Victoria has described, National Grid Renewables has successfully developed or have projects under construction or operation, 5 projects in Ohio. We pride ourselves on being responsible developers and citing our projects in a manner to address and mitigate concerns from the community. 2 of the most common concerns or questions we hear are regarding noise and screening. So I want to address some of those concerns today. So first, regarding noise, solar farms are held to a strict noise standard by the Ohio Power Siting Board. Typically, only allowed to be 5 decibels over the ambient background noise. In addition, the main components of a solar farm must be set back a minimum of 300 feet from residences. So typical noise levels at the nearest residence during operation are similar to the sound you'd hear from your dishwasher in your kitchen. Now, during construction, we often hear questions about construction noise. As with any development, there is construction noise, but it is temporary in nature. And the sounds from pile driving, which we often hear concerns about, if you look at noise studies, that noise level is comparable to the noise produced by tractors, lawnmowers operating right next to your property lines and homes. So it's not completely out of range with typical agriculture and residential land uses. Also, construction noise is limited to only occur during the daytime per the Ohio Power Siting Board requirements. Now, regarding screening, We provide vegetative screening buffers when we are adjacent to nearby residences. These are dense plantings of evergreen and deciduous trees and shrubs. That is in addition to the 300-foot setbacks that are the minimum that is required. We appreciate the time to address some of these concerns and describe how National Grid Renewables is the good neighbor in this community. Thank you.
Please reserve your comments. Additional people to speak in that are against exclusionary zones, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jane Harf. I am here as a community coordinator for National Grid Renewables. I live at 375 Spruce Drive in Granville, in Licking County. One of the most frequent concerns we hear, and we have heard them this morning, is about property values. And that's understandable. For most of us, our home is the greatest investment we will ever make. And many of us depend upon the equity that is built up in that home for our retirement. Many numbers have been circulated when it comes to property values. Unfortunately, most of them are not backed up by empirical data. There have been studies done on a dozen states, from New England to the Southeast to the Midwest to the West, by academics from universities and also by professional land appraisers. The largest and most recent of those studies was done by Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, and I believe you have had testimony on that in the past. They studied 1.8 million homes in 6 states near solar farms. And where there was some variation between states, the average decrease in property values was 1.5%. The University of Rhode Island looked at 400,000 transactions in Rhode Island and Massachusetts over the course of 15 years, finding the value of homes within 1 mile of the solar project decreased by an average of 1.7%. Very similar to the Lawrence Berkeley study. Distance from the property is a mitigating factor. Any decreases in property value disappear the further you get from the property, even within a mile. Most of the decreases that were found, the minimal decreases that were found, were within a half mile of the project. Time is also a mitigating factor. The longer that the project is in operation, the less there is any evidence of decrease in property value. We already heard about buffers, screening, vegetation screening. That is a mitigating factor as well. And some studies even point to a decrease in local taxes as beneficial to home sales. None of us want to support or to vote for more taxes, and yet we continue to want the services that are provided to us through those taxes. These projects generate a significant amount of tax revenue for the local communities. And in the long run, that is certainly a benefit both to the community and to the homeowner. In addition to taxes, charitable donations to local organizations benefit community members. And at National Grid Renewables, we are particularly committed to supporting activities and projects that benefit children and youth. I appreciate your time and thank you for having this hearing and allowing us all to make our views known.
Thank you. Additional comments opposing the exclusionary zone.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name's Chris Snyder. My address is 5810 State Route 13, Somerset. I am a developer. We are working on the Carnation project. Today, I would like to talk about two subjects, which is drainage and roads. As a team, we are currently working with our landowners to get as much tile information as possible from them. And we will take this information afterwards and work with the county soil and water department to compile a complete mapping system of all the drainage on our project area. We will develop a drainage map of the area, and we'll have a file of this, and we'll use this information going forward for construction so we can eliminate any tile damage. Also, I will work with adjacent neighbors on getting, if there's any water flowing into the project or exiting the project from adjacent neighbors, we will work with those neighbors to figure out if there's any tile, and also to prevent any backup onto adjacent neighbors. At our Yellowbud site, now we had troubles with surface water running off onto adjacent property owners. That project was, those issues were resolved. Construction was changed to prevent any further runoff of surface water during construction. Now going forward, this project is in operation. There is grass growing on in the project area. There has not been any issues with any surface water runoff onto adjacent neighbors. Now for the roads, what we will do is called a road use and maintenance agreement, the RUMA. We will work with the county engineer and the township trustees to put a RUMA in place on what roads will be used during construction. These will all we will map the roads and everything. Going forward, we will, if there's any damage to any of these roads, they will be repaired. It could be repaired above the quality of the existing roads. So, example, at Yellowbud, there was a section of road where the base wasn't very good. We went in, did a cement stabilization. That road is in much better shape now than it was in the.
Please conclude your remarks.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you. Additional comments for those opposed to the exclusionary zone?
Commissioners and staff, thanks for having this public hearing. My name's Aaron Steely. I'm a developer with Cypress Creek Renewables. We're fairly new to the county. In fact, about 2 weeks after we entered the county, the initial plans for this zone out were announced. So I'm here to just offer some higher level comments before the vote. Utility scale solar offers substantial benefits to the county in the form of rich tax payments over the lifetime of the project. For a 100 megawatt project under the pilot program, this would equate to around $900,000 a year. And for a 40-year project, that's $36 million over the lifetime. In addition, developers participate in a wide range of financial and community support programs for the areas they are sited in. Solar allows individual landowners to capitalize on a different form of farming by harvesting the sun directly as energy and securing long-term economic security for their families. Choosing to not enact this ban on solar allows for due process to occur. For any new project, the county still retains its right to say no before it goes to the OPSB for permits. And the OPSB process is a 12-month process that takes into account all aspects of public and stakeholder opinion. Across the United States, the freedom for an individual landowner to pursue economic opportunities on their land is part of what makes this country great. By voting no on this resolution, you are not giving up your rights to later deny any new project that wants to move forward in the process. I urge you to vote no. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Additional comments for those against the exclusionary zones? So we have the next would be comments neither for nor against the industrial solar exclusionary zones in Fairfield County. Who would just like to make a comment? Anyone?
Hi, my name is Selena McCord, and I live at 8640 Ruffner Road in Millersport. And I just want to thank you guys again for hearing our thoughts, this board, in our community's thoughts and our feelings, because you do represent us, and we appreciate that. I live on 5 acres of farmland right now, and 80 acres surrounding us would be the solar industrial plant. And I just want to remind this board that you have such a responsibility to protect all the generations after us. I have 6 kids. My youngest is 5. My oldest is 15. And I'm just so excited to live in the country right now. And sorry, I have a lot of notes, but I do want to say, as far as solar in general, we do know that a lot of the products come from out of the country. And I just want us to think big picture about how we need to support our own country, the resources we have, and just the things that we can use within our country to create energy. I'm not against solar on a home. I'm not against it in a small scale, but on land, something that we know is farmland and our country has always preserved and appreciated in the state of Ohio, is concerning to me. And also that Fairfield County does mean, it means beauty of the fields. So I just want us to remember that we are a blessed county, and I pray that we keep it that way. So thank you.
Again, comments, please. Comments neither for or against industrial solar exclusionary zones here in Fairfield County. Anyone?
Morning, gentlemen. Scott Green, 603 Crestview Drive, Lithopolis, Ohio. I actually live here in Ohio. Well, actually Fairfield, unlike most of you guys over there. But I want to remind you guys, we elect you to represent us in Fairfield County, not people that live in somewhere else. Just remember that when you vote, that you represent us, not someone that lives in other states or outside of Fairfield County. Thank you for your time.
Please, thank you.
Commissioners. I'm William George, 1149 Rowley Road, Baltimore, Ohio. And I haven't heard anything about the harmonic distortion that from an article that I get from an electrical contractor magazine. A person by the name of Richard Biggin has been writing a series of comments on the quality of electrical power that comes from solar and wind. And some of the negative things that he has featured in his articles of the Electrical Contractor magazine, that there's an increase of voltage harmonic distortion over the IEEE 519 recommended levels, especially on higher number of parallel panels. Noise on landline phone systems trace
to large solar farms. So that's a negative. There's a voltage imbalance, voltage stability issues with transient clouds, higher frequency signals where solar panel farms cause portable phones and touch dimmer lights to malfunction. The way I see, or in my mind, how I feel that this distortion can, back years ago, they're like if a fax machine would start running while you're on the telephone, you'd get that noise. Well, anyone within the area of a solar panel farm would get that noise, according to this article and my thinking on that. So it doesn't put out the solar panels, doesn't put out a high quality electric because you're starting with DC and and change to AC, which okay, well, some of his article was solar panel generates DC voltage to convert DC to AC, the primary grid frequency of 50 to 60 hertz requires electronic components, which causes a noise like the old linear, well, it's still there, linear lighting, such as fluorescence, will cause a noise. And in the past, in contracting, we've had to add components to get rid of that noise.
Please conclude.
So anyway, I hadn't heard those comments yet on the noise that can happen to phone lines and some items in your homes.
Thank you. Any additional comments regarding those who are neither for nor against the industrial solar exclusionary zone? So we've reached a point in time where we are going to introduce a resolution. Right, Rochelle?
From the Commissioners, Resolution 2024-5.21.a, a resolution to approve the designation of restricted areas which prohibit the construction of large solar facilities in Fairfield County, Ohio.
I'll second. Discussion. Commissioner Fix.
Here today and who've come before to give us their thoughts. And the folks who've invited us out to sit on their front porch, spend some time to get a deeper understanding of how a project like this are difficult decisions. Trying to find the balance between property owner rights, right to their neighbors, right thing to do. Probably been the most challenging political conversation I've had. And at the end of the day, reasons why I'm going to support, which have to do with county. I appreciate almost everybody that's come to talk to us. Seriously, a couple of people threatened us with our jobs. So most often, every big deal, right? It's not like that everywhere else. So I appreciate all the effort that helping us understand your perspective.
Additional discussion. I too concur with Commissioner Fix's comments. A lot of you folks have put a lot of time and effort into actually looking at the issue and how it best serves Fairfield County. You know, we've heard a couple of threats about our jobs. You know, that's not important to me, quite frankly. At the end of the day, I'm going to make a decision on all the information I gather and whether it's the right thing to do or not. And if someone wants to vote me out of office, and I hate to tell you this, but one person can't do that. If I'm to be voted out of office, so be it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I think's right and not take threats, because I don't appreciate threats. So I too am in favor of the exclusionary zone for Fairfield County, and I'm going to vote accordingly. Rochelle, please.
Commissioners, it just came to my attention that we will have an issue with this resolution number because it's a separate meeting on the same date when it comes to our system that records these resolutions. So I would like to renumber this resolution 2024-5.21.BB.
Okay, and read the resolution one more time, please.
A resolution to approve the designation of restricted areas which prohibit the construction of large solar facilities in Fairfield County, Ohio.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Fix,
Yes.
Commissioner Levesey,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis. Motion passes 2-0.
So, any additional item to come before the Board of Commissioners at this time?
And to adjourn? Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.